Hi, I'm Martyn, and welcome to the latest PopBucket Podcast. With me today is Michael.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
Just the three of us today. So,
three amigos.
The three amigos.
Cozy chat time.
All well. Well, it's been a pretty exciting week in the last few weeks in terms of gaming, with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 now out in the UK stores. James picked up the Xbox One, I picked up the PS4, so we got a sort of good round view, I think, of our opinions of what's good about them, what's not good about them, and sort of, I've
got neither, so I know I can be devil's advocate here.
Be devil's advocate, Mike.
It's true. You need to provide the challenge, mate.
Yeah, you need to challenge our opinions on any fanboys that could pop
up. Okay then. So first impressions then, like from out of the box to get hooking up to the TV, how easy was that? Did you have any problems? I heard some stuff about the Xbox One possibly having some image feedback problems with the TV. Any of that or what?
I had no problems. I mean, I picked up the console at midnight at Asda. My wife was really stressing me out and saying, "No, you're going to have to leave early." I'm reading stuff on Twitter. There's queues. They've been queuing since 10 o'clock this morning. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Queues going around the whole of Bristol.
Yeah, exactly. It's just snaking around every street. Well, I was like, "Oh crap! I really haven't thought this through." So I left it about 20 to midnight and got there, and there was absolutely no queue. There was like one man stood by the counter. I was like, "Is this the queue?" He was like, "Yeah." Good, isn't it? So I sort of strolled out within like a matter of 5 minutes, got the thing back, and I was just pretty straightforward. Just plug the HDMI in, and sort of away you go. It was really, really simple. The only difficulty I had was with my TV, lack of sort of HDMI sockets, but actually that wasn't too much of an issue because you can run the cable through the Xbox One, which means you need one less sort of input to your television. So it was, I found it really straightforward. I didn't have any issues with sort of image feedback or anything like that.
Oh, cool. So a nice, straightforward setup. I would just ask about, they've simplified the Xbox menu now, so it's like 3 screens, isn't it? Like from the home screen. Is that fairly easy to navigate, or?
It is. I mean, it's not so dissimilar from what you've got on the 360. So you've still got the sort of the Windows 8 kind of tiles look. But it's I mean, they've simplified it into I think it's the home screen, which is all your recent sort of activity. So it'll be things like YouTube, things that you've looked at, DVR, games that you've played, and you've got an option to actually pin those to the home screen as well. So you can say, well, I'm going to be playing sort of Battlefield quite a lot. I'll just pin that to the home screen. I've got sort of quick access to it. Yeah. So that's quite nice. And then you've got like an apps one, which is sort of your music and your video apps, which is fine. And then you've got the store, which is like sort of the Xbox arcade sort of store. So it's quite simple. I can see it growing over time, to be honest, because there's obviously not that much content on them at the moment.
Yeah. So it's very much as before, but like just sort of streamlined and kind of easy to. Marty, what was your experience from out of the box to starting it up?
Out of the box,
the PS4. I should say with the PS4, by the way.
With the PS4, I thought it was tiny. It was like anemic, considering the size of a gargantuan PS3 launch model. And I haven't seen in person an Xbox One, but I've seen it in comparison pictures. And the Xbox One's going to be sitting next to the Wii U, and it's like David and Goliath it's going to be. It's like about 4 times the size of a Wii U, and probably about twice the size of a PlayStation 4.
It is a beastly bit of kit. The first thing I noticed when I got to the shop was, wow, this is heavy. And they didn't have a bag for it either, but anyway.
No, so that was quite a delight, because space is a bit of a premium on the TV.
Yeah.
And I thought if the PS4 is anything like the Xbox One, it's like something's going to be a bit shifted around here. But no, all got plugged in perfectly fine. But the servers were being absolutely hammered, so it took about 10 attempts to download the day one patch, which you do really need, because otherwise you can't really do anything on the console. It turns on online play and all stuff like that.
That is pretty cool.
But it was being hammered all day, so. But I did have a bit of a worry at one point, was that every 10 seconds, TV started going black, but then the gameplay popped up again. Right. Every 10 seconds.
Oh. So the console reset itself, or?
No. First happened when I was on Twitch. Let's talk a bit more later. I had the laptop next to me, as it's just making sure all's running fine, all the audio's coming through for the game and my mic, and the TV just went black. And I thought, hang on, let me look to the laptop. My car's continuing to drive through because I'm still holding down the accelerator button, so it's the actual feed to the TV went.
Oh.
I'm not sure. It's because I've got one of those HDMI splitters. I'm not sure if it's now getting a bit too much.
Did you check? I mean, I know this might sound a bit patronising, but did you check the cable, the actual physical link? Was that loose?
I checked the physical link. That all seemed fine. I did force a resolution output to 1080p just to thought that might do something. Yeah. But it hasn't done it yet. I might have to play around the HDMI cables. It was just like, there's always the horror stories of every launch. Xbox One turning up discs. PS4's died as well. I thought, oh no, it's just my life. I've got so much to review. It's like, it's going to go horribly wrong. But it seems fine. And
it's holding up for the moment, yeah.
It's holding up. But I will have to play around because through one split, I've got the Wii U, PS3 and PS4.
This is why I love you guys. Early adopters are like, they make my day, because it's like all of this stuff. I know I'd be absolutely rubbish setting up a console if I was an early adopter. I'd be like, oh my god, what do I do? Oh no!
No, you can just phone up the Martyn and James helpline, can't you?
Exactly. There we go.
It is a premium rate line.
We should be charging premium rate for this. This is advice right now. This is
tech support.
Console setup advice. So anyway, a few minor kind of niggles, but I think the Xbox kind of wins the easy setup award challenge. What about the actual?
Yes, unless you were in that small number that did have issues with the disk drives. I mean, I think I've read that it was 4% of people picked up a dud console, and I did that with the 360. My first 360 lasted about 2 days because it just kept freezing and stuff. But that aside, I think for those unfortunate few. That aside, I think it was a pretty smooth setup, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I had some problems with my 360 recently. It won't work. The disc tray won't work if there's not a disc in it. So there always has to be a disc in it. I just have to make sure it's never empty. Otherwise, I have to use a nail file to prise it open.
I was going to say, why would you need it to work without a disc in it? But no, I know what you mean. Actually, that's not good.
No. So hopefully the new one won't have that problem in time.
There's no actual movable part, so the disc tray doesn't actually come out anymore, which is quite nice. It's a bit like a CD player on your car. It's got like a slot black hole where your CD disappears. But so maybe that's one less moving part to go wrong, hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah. Thing is, they talk about the failure rates. They're saying, the PS3 or sort of even the PS3 and PS4 and Xbox One, it's like 3-4%. It's like that's standard in electronics, but it sounds worse when they report on it because everyone buys the device at the exact same time. Whereas 3-4% of Hoovers they're bought over a period of over years, so you don't have like a million people buying the same console.
You don't remember the great Dyson rush of 2008? That was everyone wanted that model.
Exactly. So if you had something like 30,000 is in like one day, it sounds a huge amount with all these complaints. But when it's like 30,000 Hoovers over the year, because it's spread out, it's fine. But I think people do overreact. People are too excited as well. You would be disappointed. You book the weekend off work and sit down, and you got dead, and you got a week until you can get a new one.
Or even boxing it back up as a mission. I remember that with the old 360, trying to find all the little compartments where all the controllers and the cables go. It's like, oh no, like a nightmarish jigsaw puzzle. But
I've still got all the box strewn across the floor just in case it's still a bit iffy. You never know. I can't keep the box. And I've got no space. So
really?
Go. Yeah.
Ooh.
But
cool.
James, so you got the Xbox One first. You spent a bit more time on some gaming.
Yeah, I spent a
I
bit
want
of
to
time
hear
on
about
gaming.
Dead Rising first of all.
Well, I've not played. I've not played Dead Rising since Eurogamer actually, because I didn't get Dead Rising with the console. I got Rise actually.
Oh, Rise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm getting confused between what I'm all over the place now.
That's the Roman times hacky slashy thing, right?
That's it. Yeah. Oldie worldy, ancient Rome. Yeah, I mean, as a launch title, I think it's absolutely amazing. It looks stunning. So sort of the armor effects, kind of particle effects, even the sort of cloth textures and things like that just look phenomenal. I think it's like, if anything, it's probably a really, really impressive tech demo for the console and what it can do on day one. It got quite a lot of criticism for being sort of quite a shallow experience. People were saying it was just, hacking and
Quick
slashing
time events and stuff.
Yeah. And to be fair, like it is combat based. There's not much more to it than combat. It's not like an RPG or anything like that. It is just kind of go from here to here, slash your way through sort of hordes of barbarians, and do the odd kind of bit of action with your squad, which is quite cool. But I actually found it really enjoyable. The combat system's not too dissimilar from sort of Assassin's Creed, so it's kind of the kind of counter the quick attacks and the strong attacks. And then like I think sort of once you kind of bash your opponents down a little bit, they get weakened and you can do sort of some pretty gruesome finishes. But there's hundreds of finishes. Like you don't really tend to see too much repetition, I didn't find. But actually, I just thought, it is a hack and slash, but actually it's immense fun to play. And it looks fantastic. My only criticism with it, I think, is that the campaign was a little bit short. I think it probably lasted about 8 to 10 hours, really. But I was really hammering it because I was enjoying it so much, so I just kind of kept at it.
Well, I mean, that's a good sign, isn't it? I mean, when you've got a campaign and you like play it solidly, then you obviously you're enjoying the gameplay and stuff. But you said campaign mode. What are the other branch off features for the game?
Well, it's got sort of it's got a cooperative feature, so you can play sort of with a mate, sort of 2-player co-op in sort of an arena. So it's kind of it's in the Colosseum of Rome.
Oh yeah.
And you've got all these kind of interesting set pieces that kind of come up out of the floor, and then you're fighting sort of side by side against kind of different hordes of barbarians, different opponents, and sort of different objectives. So it's to give an example, there's one objective where you've got sort of a giant wicker man on either side of the stadium, and you've got these barbarians running around with torches trying to light up these wicker men. So you've got to kind of defend these two bases, and kind of divide your time between the two, take down a few barbarians, and then every so often one of them will sort of wicker men will catch a light, and you've got to go and sort of douse it with water. So it's kind of, there's some quite interesting little objectives in there. I've had loads of fun playing actually with just sort of randoms online. I haven't played with any friends that have got the Xbox One yet, but it's quite a good experience. It's given it quite a bit of replay value, to be honest.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I mean, criticism I found a bit unfair, really, and I think give it a go. I think you'll enjoy it, and I think that else, it sort of demonstrates the power of the console.
That criticism was kind of based around like a 5-minute tech demo as well. I should just point out, and so a lot of people wouldn't have played through the campaign or played the game and realised that it's not all about quick time finishing events, because I would imagine you have to weaken the enemies first, as you said, before you get to that stage. So that involves more kind of technical fighting and countering, like you said, like Assassin's Creed. So
there's this kind of tactical, really. So you get sort of different types of opponents, and some are stronger, so you have to kind of attack them in a different way. So you might give them a sort of bash with your shield to kind of knock them off guard, or you might counter them to kind of throw them off balance, and then you can go in sort of up, that's it. Yeah, so it's quite deep. It's quite deep in terms of combat system.
For the whole build-up, it always reminded me of God of War, the sort of hack and slash style. And although God of War is mythological, it's sort of back in the day, sort of ancient times. I do like the ancient Roman period. There's something cool about all the centurions all lined up with their shields and their
definitely.
armour.
Yeah, that's quite a nice feature as well. Actually, you just sort of reminded me. It's like every so often you'll get to a bit where you kind of command your army, so you can sort of choose the strategy. So you might sort of put your archers on a hill or something, or get your sort of defensive line set up, and it kind of, you can make the game a little bit easier for yourself if you do the right strategy. And you also get to kind of form up and make a formation with your shields, so you can sort of defend yourselves with. I can't remember what they call it. It's when they make sort of
the tortoise.
That's
formation,
it. Yeah. So you can do that, which is quite cool. But I mean, the storyline's really good as well. It's it starts off and you think this is quite average. But it does surprise you. It does surprise you, and it goes down a few routes that you think, well, they could have actually really taken the easy route there, but no, they've gone for innovation. That's good. I like that. So I was really impressed with the story. It kept me pretty entertained, and actually keeps you wanting to kind of slash your way through hordes of baddies, which is what you want, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, strong recommendation there. Does Marty have an equal recommendation for something that he's played?
I haven't played a proper next-gen game yet on the PS4, which is a bit counterproductive.
Use it to watch Netflix. just sit there watching Arrested Development. Oh, this new next-gen stuff is amazing.
It sounds amazing.
I can see every bit of embarrassment on Michael Cera's face. It's brilliant.
I have played the games. I've only got Killzone Shadowfall, which is the only proper next-gen game I'd consider, because most are like cross-gen ports. And for review purposes, I've been finishing off a few reviews. I've had Lego Marvel review, which I've done, which is more expensive and made no improvement whatsoever to the PS3 version out a month ago, which I thought was a bit...
Is it the exact same game?
Game, basically, apart from one rubbish touchpad feature. But £10 more expensive at least. So
that's not great, is it?
So
it's kind of cheap.
Yeah. So that was. It's still a very good game, granted, but that's just a bit silly. And also, Lego games don't exactly show off huge range of textures and lighting effects and so much compared to something more like Assassin's Creed or Killzone or Rise.
I can't imagine
sparkle.
Can't imagine it pushing the sort of hardware to its limits either, really.
No, it had such bad pop-in still. It's like it was really bad on the PS3.
Really?
Yeah. And if it's bad on the PS3, it wouldn't have been pushing the PS3 hard. But if it can do bloody Killzone, it can stop the pop-in on Lego games. That's for sure. So
wow, that's really. I mean, that sounds like, not to want to come down too hard, but that does sound like quite a cynical cash grab, because you've got a game that's done relatively well on the PS3, and you haven't given it any new features, and you haven't bothered to sort out graphical glitches.
Yeah, it was. They've done a basic standard port without making any effort, but charging more for the purpose. Ports are normally done like 6 months later with like a bit of DLC included for like third less than the original price, but no, not more expensive. With just as bad, but oh well, that's fine. What else have you been doing?
You played a bit of Battlefield, didn't you?
I did.
That looks amazing on the Xbox. I got Battlefield as well. And
I think do a few levels because I played it on the PS3. I just wanted to see a mixture of the sort of open battlefield of the first level to the city level, and then the water effects. And I thought I've seen enough of a campaign to see the graphic improvements in that respect, but I haven't touched the multiplayer yet because that's been pretty iffy, and I can't log on half the time.
I had some issues with Battlefield. The multiplayer's been working a treat actually, and it's really, really, really good. But I've been putting myself through sort of the campaign, and I've done it 3 times now. The first level, and it just keeps resetting itself. So every time I come back to the console after a couple of days, It's like, campaign, start a new campaign. No, it really is infuriating, and the first level's so crap as well. Like, you don't really want to play through it sort of more than twice. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave the campaign be for a while. But multiplayer is great. Pretty overwhelming with that many players. I think it's 64.
64 next gen. Yeah, up from 24, which was a good size on the old gen consoles, but 64 is quite a jump.
It is immense. Yeah, I mean, half of the time you don't know what's going on because you've got people flying overhead, people trying to run you over, and then like snipers kind of sat in the bushes about 2 miles away.
I bet there's a load of snipers on with that many people.
Yeah, it is immense. Like, it does feel like actually being in a proper war, but with all the kind of fear and sort of unexpected bowel movements that go with it, I think. But, yeah, I don't tend to last very long, but I'm getting into it. I think it's kind of it's an adjustment thing.
I was going to ask. I saw like a tweet from you saying, "Oh, better get my game together because the commander's online." I was thinking, please God, let that be your nickname for Marty on Battlefield. That would be amazing.
I'll be happy with that nickname. I've had worse things called.
Yeah. No, I haven't really figured it out, but I think it's the smart glass. You can. There's an app, or a Battlefield app, or part of Smart Glass. So on your iPhone or your iPad, you can basically be the commander. So you can direct a team in the battle and tell them what objectives to go for. So the commander sort of says, "Oh, it's I don't know, capture the flag or something. Yeah. I want you to go for this flag," and you get like this thing on your HUD that sort of tells you commander saying go over here. So it kind of draws everyone in that direction. So you get these kind of really tight little skirmishes occurring over certain objectives, whereas before it might have been a little bit more. Yeah, I've not been the commander yet. I can't see it being that much fun.
For a game years ago that sounds a bit like that, where it was basically like a Command and Conquer game, except people were allowed to fight down on the ground in first person, and other players could direct backup units using like the RTS kind of layout. So it sounds like we're working towards that. So
the strategy's covered, and then you've got the grunts downstairs, kind of sort of slogging it out. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, really. It's quite. It's a nice idea, but I'd have to give it a little go as a commander. Have you played as a commander, Martyn?
Yeah, you get level 10, so you don't get it immediately. Was it level 10? Yeah, it's basically so you don't get completely noobs, sort of launching missiles just sort of randomly. But yeah, it's essentially like a Command and Conquer mode. Is a loose way of describing what it is.
Yeah.
Just it's just something else for something to do.
Yeah, it gives it another level, doesn't it? It's a bit of depth.
Bit of depth, a different bit of gameplay for different types of fans, because people do like running around shooting stuff, but there's also the fans who do quite like a bit of an RTS sort of flavours in their games. So why not give it to them?
Yeah.
I just wish you could. I don't think it was what you could see the carnage easily, where you could sort of find a little spot on the map, and then you could see your rockets all coming flooding down and see what you're doing easily.
That'd be quite cool.
Like a free roaming camera.
Yeah, and you could see the effect
cam or something.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's good. But I'm going to leave it another couple of days because I'm not. I got Monday and Tuesday off work, so
cool.
Hopefully everyone else will go back to work that day, leaving me and the servers nice and empty, relatively. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to be streaming on Twitch as well, which I started doing now for PopBucket.
Yeah, look good. Did look good.
Twitch.tv/PopBucket.
That's right, yeah. Good plug. Good plug.
Get on it, please.
So we started streaming on Twitch. We'll get you, James, hooked up when the Xbox allows it. And Mike, as and when you get the next gen console, you can. I might give you rights to broadcast.
Oh, that's really.
He's such a generous commander, isn't he?
He's a gracious man, the commander. He.
I got to deploy my troops in the best possible capacity. So no, it's a really good way. It's quite cool actually, because the way I was described to James, it's a bit like Babe Station. It's not like I've ever watched that at any point.
Okay.
But,
He's just got an in-depth knowledge of it. Of course.
In-depth knowledge for the layout, user interface, the mechanics. So I had 80% of the screen was normal gameplay, but the right sidebar was like you can see who's
following,
how many people are watching you, and at the bottom you can see comments pop up, and so I can't remember, it was Delta 39. He messaged me saying, "Is this campaign or multiplayer?" I could answer him over the microphone. He could ask me other questions. So I was describing, you can see the improvements in lighting, and you can just sort of engage with the audience, and it's a really fun, cool way that I can see being the real future of games.
Yeah, I can see it being really, really popular, particularly for sort of gamers that actually want to get a feel and actually talk to someone real about, well, I've got 50 quid in my pocket, there's 5 AAA games out at the moment that I kind of got my eye on. Let's talk to someone real and actually get the real story. Figure out which one I need to invest in.
I think it's going to be good when we review games and you can't broadcast it before the embargo. But once embargo's up and there's a few days beforehand, they've read reviews from all the big sites and independent websites. But again, all trailers you see, I've got so much marketing and behind it. So meticulously planned.
Oh yeah,
is that gamers just want to see, right, what does it actually look like without any marketing behind it, just a normal person reviewing a game.
What's the in-game footage, what does it play like, how many hours am I going to get out of it, what's the multiplayer like if it's got one, all key questions really.
Exactly. And the engagement to and froing, people write comments up, I can reply immediately back to them. It's a brilliant thing. And
I can't wait for them to
possibly
switch it on. I was just going to say, they haven't switched the sort of Twitch function on the Xbox yet. I think they're doing it in January or something. I've had a little go with the DVR, which is quite good. So you can record your game footage, and then you can take it into, it's called the Upload Studio on the Xbox One. So you can edit it down how you want and put a voiceover, so you could, if you were reviewing a game sort of on a video, you could kind of, I guess you could have your little script written out, and then you could sort of give it the sort of voiceover when you want. You can do all sorts of stuff really, actually. You can make some cool sort of graphical intros. So you can have like a big explosion and fire coming in, and then like your sort of
it's going to be like
title is like
90s video.
Yeah, it is a bit like that.
These rubbish flame effects pop up.
It's like the sort of C-list sort of Hollywood movies, but yeah, it's quite good. It's got a lot of good features, and I think we'll get a lot out of it on the site, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one of the main features that I've been quite impressed with on the PS4. Is the sharing function.
Would you say that that's possibly, it might be the most actual radical improvement or change that the next generation is going to bring, this interactivity?
I believe so. With the streaming and the screenshot function, there's going to be a lot more screenshots popping around the internet of funny bugs, because it's so easy to do now. A quick tap of some weird deformed character. Or video capture of some hilarious sort of horse riding upside down. Actually, talking about I couldn't do it because I hadn't done it yet properly. But the Battlefield 4, I was on the 3rd mission on the ship, on the aircraft carrier, and I went to stab a bloke, as you do, and I thought, hang on, I'm stuck. I'm outside the wall here.
Just realised.
And I went outside the scenery, and it was almost like, like in games, like was it Call of Duty, Modern Warfare? You have the training mission where it was like in a warehouse, then you have wooden panel. It was like that on the ship when I got outside the scenery. So it was almost like a set, and then I fell down into a sea. And it was just like one really weird glitch that just happened, and you can have funny things like that pop up.
I saw a really weird one on Assassin's Creed. Someone had filmed it. I think it was on the PS4. It doesn't really matter, but Assassin's Creed. They were calling it the Apocalypse, and
was it the ascension of a ship?
Yeah, did you see that? It was like this massive chasm sort of opened up in the middle of the sea, and there was loads of sort of like kind of corpses kind of flailing around, floating above this massive hole in the water. All the water is running down into this hole, and then this ship just suddenly starts floating out of the middle of this massive hole, and then just kind of goes up into the sky. It was really weird. They were calling it the Rapture. Be something in it.
It's going to be a bit of a game changer, I think. It's definitely a way we can play and share games with friends.
I can just imagine if I end up with one of the consoles playing it, and you'll be constantly sending me videos, Marty, of upside down horses, or look at this funny thing.
I'll come across a tree and its bark shape looks like your face or something like that.
Oh, charming!
Share that.
Or rocket outcrop that looks like James, and I thought I'll share
your face like a gnarled tree stump. Here you go. Saw this. Thought of you.
All the while, we'll be sending Martyn read messages on Twitch saying your driving is crap, etc.
That's the thing. It's actually quite embarrassing when I died and when people watch me on Twitch. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I was watching you driving through some fences last night on Need for Speed.
That was when the TV was on the blink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Marty.
You was just
I couldn't see
just checking out the destruction model, weren't you? On the on the game. Yeah,
you're very thorough like that.
Actually, I'm lying to you. There's another game-changing feature. Well, it's not new, actually. It's a remote play, but it's now fully fledged on the PS4.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been playing Need for Speed in bed and in the bath.
In the bath again.
In the
Return
bath.
of the bath time gaming segment.
It's
it.
Been at least 3 episodes since we've spoken about Martyn's bath.
Yeah.
I must say I missed
it. So, that's really good. So's been watching I'm a Celebrity on catch up, and I've been playing Assassin's Creed 4 on the Vita.
That's a nice
again, it's just immense.
That is a nice feature.
It's something like I imagine Xbox One owners would be quite envious.
Yeah, I think
when they've got their new games and they can't play it because their wife or little brother or mum and dad want to watch something. And they're kicked off because they've been on for 9 hours and it's time to get off.
It is
only 9 hours? Come on.
So that's going to be cool. Although I'm not sure of my Wi-Fi. It's a bit jumpy at times.
I was going to ask, does your PlayStation 4 need to be switched on to do it? Is it like a tether?
You can turn it on with a Vita.
Oh, I see.
So I want to test it at work. So I can take it to Vita, switch on the internet, and turn on the PlayStation 4 from work, start playing remotely over the internet, and then I can turn the PS4 off again on the Vita, and then carry on with the Vita only game.
That is amazing.
So that is a blinding feature, if I may say so.
They've played a blinder there.
It is.
Kinect. Actually, I was going to talk a little bit about Kinect on the Xbox One, because I think that's seen some big improvements so far. I've not really tested it out that much at the moment with the full Kinect game, but I had a little go on Kinect Sports Rivals, which is at the moment it's just the jet ski sport, which is quite interesting. So you kind of you're racing against 8 other people on jet skis in this like beautiful looking sort of island paradise. But yeah, you can actually use the Kinect sitting down now, which is really good. Seems really, really responsive. So it can pick out sort of the movements of your sort of fingers, which is quite good. So to accelerate, you just kind of clench your fist, and then to brake, you kind of open your hand like you would on the sort of accelerators of a bike.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it picks up when you clench your hand. Has it got like sensors in the? It just looks at visually what you're doing, like with the camera.
Yeah. I mean, it's a full 3D sort of depth scanning.
You're body mapped, aren't you? Essentially, from what I've seen.
Yeah, so it can get the depth of the entire room really. So it can tell. Yeah, even if your hand's sort of facing it horizontally, it can tell that actually your hand is open. It's very clever stuff. I don't claim to understand it fully, but it does work really well. The speech recognition seems a lot better as well, which is good because a lot of the key features like the DVR and some of the snap features are quite kind of integral really with the speech recognition. So if you're playing a game of Battlefield and you just took down sort of a tank or a helicopter, and you think that's really cool, I want to capture that, you can just say sort of Xbox record that, and the Xbox will record sort of the last 30 seconds and then ongoing until you sort of stop it. So you've got that in the bank. You can then take it and start sort of editing it down. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I have ordered a PSI.
Oh yeah.
It's not called a PlayStation Eye anymore. It's just a PlayStation 4 camera.
Yeah.
But it hasn't arrived yet. That came separately ordered. So I've yet to test out the voice capabilities and sort of gestures and stuff like that on that yet. So you'll have a report if I remember in a couple of weeks' time. Because I got Just Dance 2014 as well to strut my stuff to.
Hey.
Streaming live on Twitch, people.
I was thinking about it because the PSI, you can have a camera facing you, obviously, and
you can do picture in picture, can't you?
It broadcast you picture in picture. That's all.
Yeah.
Thanks, James. To be honest, I don't think I'll do that because I probably won't look particularly glamorous lying my feet up on the sofa.
Oh, come on, Marty.
And
be a sport.
Yeah.
And also half the time, Soph might be next to me. So I don't want her.
I did a little demo of the picture in picture when I was playing Rise, and because I was showing sort of Freya some of the editing studio and stuff like that. She said, "Oh no, I think you need to have you need a light underneath your face. Like you need to be underlit if you're going to do that." I was like, so she got the lamp out. I was like, yeah, if you hold it there. I was like, what? But and then she was like, "Oh, I think you need a backdrop or something because it looks a bit sort of shoddy having the sofa behind you." It's like, what? So yeah, you could make yourself a little set, or maybe a flag or something. You could a drape you could put behind you, a bit more professional.
Could do.
Maybe
do something like that.
Maybe a wing chair and an open fire.
I can see that now. That's keeping
You've
up
talked him round.
Modern futuristic tech with leather wingback chairs with metal studding.
Leather wingback chairs.
The Kinect recognises your face now as well, which is quite scary. So it signs you in when you walk into the room, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it says
does it read your mind while you sleep as well?
Probably. I think that's coming in a patch in the next couple of weeks. But it does, yeah. I mean, it's kind of odd because it'll scan you, and then if someone else walks into the room, it's, do you want to sign them in? No, they're just here for the ride. But yeah, it's good features. It is all good features. It makes life easier. Makes you lazier.
Is there anything you're got concerns with? Because I've got one at the moment.
Ooh, fire away.
About the capacity.
Yeah, we were talking about this, weren't we?
We just mentioned it.
I'm a bit worried about that. Yeah, basically the hard drive on the Xbox. I think the PlayStation's the same, isn't it? It's 500 gigabytes. 500
gig, yeah.
So it's half a terabyte, which sounds like
and it's already half full up.
Yours is half full up. Mine's about an eighth of the way full up, which is kind of not good.
No, because I got Battlefield on disc. Okay, that's installed and that's taken up 48 gigabytes of a hard drive. I think that's 10% just for a game that's already on the disc.
Yeah,
it's that's crazy.
It is crazy,
and it's it has to be installed as well for it to play because it's so much because all the mechanics behind it. Games are so much work for computers to run now. They need to be installed.
Yeah.
But that's a ridiculous amount. It's
I guess in time,
I've only got 9 games, and this is the first weekend.
I mean, I guess in time, towards the end of the Xbox One kind of memory, I still had about 20 gigs left on it, but I became a bit more of a juggler. So I was like, don't really play that anymore. I'll delete the installed game off the hard drive. And probably just kept like the top 5 games that I was playing, and then if I ever went back to like Halo 3 or something, I'd just install that. But it's a bit annoying because everything sort of requires an install. It's mandated that you don't even get a choice about it anymore. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder what the future will hold for that. It is a bit of a concern.
Yeah, the only other negative thing about this launch is it means I haven't got time to play the new Mario game yet, which is a shame.
Ooh.
One of the best games of the year.
Yeah.
I haven't got time to play it
Well,
yet.
I was gutted. Well, kind of gutted because the Xbox One came out on the same day as the new Zelda game. And I was
that's true.
kind of torn a little bit.
They're making us choose, James. Why do they do it?
Nintendo sabotaging.
I think they do it purposely. They know Zelda's a big contender, especially in the Sterling household. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple of questions from a few people on Twitter. Should we make an attempt to answer them now?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
We've got 2. Let's do the easiest one, I think, first. Right, from M. Drazy on Twitter, he asked, the Xbox One has arrived. What 3 games would you go out and purchase day one? Well, James, you have purchased one. What did you buy?
I purchased a couple. I bought Rise and Battlefield 4, and it came with FIFA, but you know what FIFA's all about.
I can't count that.
No.
That's a bonus gift.
Yeah, so I would say Rise definitely for a single player experience, which will thrill you, and actually show you quite a lot of what the console's capable of, give you some ideas for the future. I think Rise is quite a strong launch title. I'd probably say Dead Rising 3 as well, from the time that I've spent with that, mainly for the fun factor. If you like sort of zombie slaying, it's got a real different feel to the last 2 Dead Rising games. It feels a lot more mature, but not so much so as to sort of alienate you if you liked the old versions. It's got a lot of fun. It's got a lot of new stuff added to it, so you can combine vehicles, which is interesting. I think we talked about it before, sort of making a roller hog and like all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, that'd probably be the second. And then the third, I to be honest, I really, really wanted to see kind of what multiplayer was all about on the next generation. So I bought Battlefield 4. Now it's whether you're a Battlefield fan or a Call of Duty fan, I'd probably recommend getting one of those just to see kind of what it's capable of, and what it's like to have that many players online. Although Call of Duty doesn't have as many, does it?
Nope, not as many. No. It's half as good.
So maybe Battlefield. It's half as good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would be probably my say. Have you got anything to chip in, Martyn?
I'm going to be getting one. Mike, what would you be picking up?
I've been talked around by James on Rise, to be honest. I like the recommendation for it. Probably Rise, I know this is quite boring, but probably Forza, even though they've got less cars in this version. I'd probably get those. PS4, I don't really... I can't see what I would get, to be honest. Like, this probably goes back to my point earlier, but... normally takes a couple of months for the real sort of quality AAA titles to start to shine through. It's sort of very rare that you get a launch title that you think, that's going to be a classic. I'll still be playing that in like 5 years. So, basically what James picked for the Xbox, and I wouldn't have a clue for the PS4. But
I think what James been saying about Rise could be the same said about Killzone. From what I've seen, it's a gorgeous game, but it's not going to be remembered really in high regards.
No.
Actually, talking about Rise's graphics, considering it's so good looking, why is the advert not in-game footage?
It's weird, isn't it? I saw it.
Why is it so
in the week.
Good looking?
Yeah, it's weird. They show you like a really, really tiny little bit of a cutscene, but no actual in-game footage. It's bizarre. It is.
It's so good looking. It's like, make a point, put in big writing. This is in-game footage now, and sell it that way.
Yeah, I mean, bits of it. It looks almost real. You think, wow, I've never seen our armour so shiny, or I've never seen a flag so flappy. Yeah, flaggy. But it seems like they're kind of shying away from it, doesn't it? And like hiding behind really rubbish looking actors who don't really look Roman at all. But I don't know about that. That's a weird one. But yeah, I think that's probably enough to get you going for day one, I guess.
I'm going to be buying. Oh, I'm getting the Dead Rising pack, but I'm going to buy with it. Hopefully, probably second hand. Hopefully, there'll be a few cheaper at that point. Rise and Zoo Tycoon.
Oh yeah, the Zoo Tycoon.
I want to buy Zoo Tycoon. I want to feed an elephant
with your hand.
With my hand. I just think there's something charming about it, and I kill so many people in games, and there's something quite.
Now you just want to feed an animal. I mean,
feed tape.
We've all been there,
back, isn't it? Sometimes that's in it. But it does look really nice. We saw it demoed at the Eurogamer Expo, and it looked fun. It's very much the next generation Viva Pinata, in my opinion, which is not a bad thing.
That's a good title. I was going to say, I don't know why I'm laughing. Viva Pinata got a load of cred and looked a lot of fun. So hopefully the same will be true of this release.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll see. Right, the next question was from Brian Best. He asked, of the two consoles, which one's going to be better sort of in 5 years' time, sort of going forward?
Bloody hell.
And that is quite difficult to answer.
I'm going to get out my next generation crystal ball to answer this one.
Let's just think of the exclusives, first of all. If they're still going to be exclusives in 5 years, what have Sony got and what have Microsoft got?
I think
Sony's
going to be better.
Really? What about
they have indie developers more on their side on the whole? I think
indie games, I suppose, but for your major titles,
also they have far more in the second party studios, whether it's Naughty Dog, and sort of all the other ones they have around. I've forgot all the names at the moment.
Well,
I can't remember.
You got
like God of War, like the Santa Monica studio. They have more than Halo.
Gears of War, Dead Rising 4. You got loads of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a tough call. I mean, not just in terms of games. I mean, I'd look at the sort of the hardware and the interface as well. I mean, to think back again, like thinking back at sort of the Xbox 360 and how that kind of evolved over the 8 years, all of the stuff that you had available on day one for that console, and actually what you've got 8 years down the line is pretty unrecognisable. You've got so much more to it. All the apps that they've introduced, all the kind of new features. I think for both consoles, it's going to be a case of they've both got really good starting features, but actually it'll be really interesting to wait and see how they evolve them next 5 years.
The development of the sort of user interface for software, the console's own software, is a good indicator, because the Xbox 360 launched at the end of 2005. YouTube only existed for 6 months before that. And things like Netflix and stuff like that. Some of these things, well, Netflix existed by the post version, but some of these things didn't even really exist when the last generation came out. And now they're so fully ingrained with YouTube, Twitch is built into the software.
It's true.
It just think back to before YouTube. It's like you're thinking, how do we use for videos online?
Well, we used to email like weird, kind of really kind of weird MWVs, didn't we? It was like funny cats and things like that. You'd just get them through email, and it'd be like, and then you'd send it on to 10 people, and they'd send it on to another 10 people. It was just kind of a weird way of doing things, really.
It was a simpler time. It was a better time.
Yeah. And broadband was only in this country for 4 years before the Xbox 360. So it's you can't really comprehend what like the next 5 to 8 years can bring.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. There could be some development outside of the two consoles that affects them, like broadband coming in made online gaming kind of feasible for the first time in a way that it wasn't in the previous generations. There could be something else that could happen. There could be that unknown event All I can say at the moment,
you've got, I guess, kind of cloud gaming is like meant to be the next big thing, and obviously Sony have bought. I can't remember the name of them, but they've bought a cloud.
Geikie, I can't remember what it's called.
Geikie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everyone
Goku.
knows.
They've obviously, sort of partnered up with them as their sort of cloud platform. Xbox has got the power of Microsoft with all their sort of cloud servers, which is, I think the cloud server serves, I think it's all the Office stuff and the Xbox, so they've got just a phenomenal sized cloud, basically. And all of the features I think that they're going to introduce on both consoles, I think in the future is going to really change the game, to be honest. They've got kind of, they've talked about having kind of living environments that grow and evolve, so you've got kind of plant life that will look different from day to day. You've got seasons coming in, and kind of imagine sort of playing Battlefield and it's winter, and 2 months later it's spring all of a sudden, and these kind of changeable environments I think will be kind of key to this generation. But yeah, I don't know about Geikie will probably be, it's going to be big, isn't it? But I don't know. Surely Microsoft got the sort of
got a clout behind it to do something.
I'd stick my money on the Xbox One in 5 years' time. If you had to pin me down, I'd say Xbox One probably will have a slight edge, but I'd just say it's going to be so marginal because they're both massive. Let's call it what it is. Corporations, Sony and Microsoft, they both have the resources to fling at the consoles. If one of the consoles starts making some headway and gaining some ground, the other one will copy it. That's how it works.
It's industry.
One-upmanship, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, I guess to answer Brian's question, it's difficult to say. I think a lot of it really now it kind of comes down to individual preference. So it's kind of, what
with less multi-platform games around.
Yeah, that and what system do you get on better with? Which one makes sense for you? Is it the PlayStation interface? Is it the Xbox? The controller? We didn't really talk about controllers this week, but actually the controller is big for me. I've got a big view on controllers, and that can kind of make or break your gaming time, really.
So what did you think then of the Xbox control pad? Now you've had time to get some hands on with it.
Really nice. Yeah, really nicely done. Really nice, actually. I mean, they've not tried to fix anything that wasn't broken. They've made it more comfortable. They've made the D-pad a lot better, and that's noticeable even when you're sort of doing really kind of menial tasks like inputting a message or something on the stupid kind of keyboard type thing.
Is it more like a PS D-pad now, like in that it's linked and it's not like, it doesn't look like a saucer?
It's not the dinner plate of old. It's kind of it's actually it's quite a nice little sort of cross that you've got going on. But it feels responsive. The analog sticks, they're in the same position that they were before, but they feel a lot more finely tuned. I guess the other major feature is the trigger buttons. They're kind of more molded now, so your fingers actually fit into them a lot nicer and give you a better grip on that essential trigger, which can make a big difference if you're playing COD or something like that. Yeah. What about you with the PlayStation controller, Martyn?
Yeah, that's had quite a fair radical change between the previous iteration, because it's got the blue light, which hasn't been utilised yet really, beyond looking pretty and giving a few quick indicators to its status, like if it's charging, if it's on standby, things like that. But D-pad, the analog sticks, and the trigger buttons are much improved. I think I still prefer the Xbox One's controller. I imagine, because it's just a bit more comfortable to hold, in my opinion, that controller. But it's much improved over DualShock 3, and I still think the hardcore elite professional gamers prefer the Xbox One's controller, but more people won't mind the DualShock 4 if they were put off buying the console purely on that reason. I think some people were.
I think they were. Yeah, the DualShock seemed fine to me when I had a go on it. But what I didn't like is that they've kept that kind of gloss finish on it, which is like the old Xbox had like it was like a matte gloss hybrid, which I always thought was nicer, and they've sort of kept that going really with the Xbox One. But I think the PlayStation's always been a bit glossy, a bit shiny, a bit slippery. It's weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean. In that, that doesn't bother me so much. But it's all round a pretty immense console. I think the touchpad has been not used yet. It is on Killzone. Otherwise, it's just something there. Not doing anything at the moment. I'm sure it'll get you more used eventually.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see developers getting to grips with it a bit. I know when we were on Assassin's Creed on the PS4, you could use it to do the map and stuff like that. So that's quite a nice feature.
Yeah, so I've got a bit of that to do. I'm looking forward to playing that fully on the PlayStation 4. Just how pretty that water is.
Sandy beaches and the cute turtles.
Yeah, the turtles are sweet. Yeah. They're as sweet as me. I had to take a picture of a turtle because it was just so sweet. How its little flippers were sort of scraping on the sand, shuffled its way forward. Mike, you would have loved it. Everyone loves turtles, like penguins.
I don't know why I haven't already purchased one.
I don't know anyone that says they don't like turtles. That would confuse me.
Turtles are system sellers, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Turtles are system sellers. Well, there we go. I think we all know what the title's going to be for this podcast.
I've actually already got one. But that's actually right, actually. All in all, I'm very, very happy with the PlayStation 4. It's got bundles of potential. Everything about it's better in every single way in terms of your friends online, how things are linked up with them, a bit more visibility of what they're up to, or if you don't have to share all the information, of course.
And Twitch is the big thing, isn't it?
But Twitch, yes, you should all watch me. Sit hours and watch me.
Just sit for hours.
You don't want to play any games yourself. You want to sit and watch me.
As long as I can hurl at you via the medium of Twitch, I'll be watching as long as possible.
So you can comment on it as well. So it's no swearing though, Mike. I'll kick you off. But twitch.tv/PopBucket. That's where hopefully we'll do quite a bit of streaming between several of us on the team.
Yeah, we might even be able to do some multiplayer streaming sessions as well. So maybe get the community involved.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that could all work. I think it's going to be really good. Actually, it's been almost an hour, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'm going to have to leave it there. I do have one parting comment. I found out it's a desolation of Smaug.
Smaug.
There you go.
It's not Steve.
Not Steve.
It's not,
I said it was Smaug last time, and you went, we'll just call him Steve.
Smaug, whatever it is.
I still think Desolation of Steve is a great title, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It would be much improved when Ian McKellen goes, Steve. It's like, you shall not pass, Steve.
I wonder how many times we're going to cut to McKellen being all twinkly-eyed and looking into the camera. I'm going to have like a checklist for the next Hobbit movie. I'm going to say it's going to be at least 10. Not that I don't love it when that happens, I do, but...
yeah, he does the wistful kind of longing look well.
Yeah.
He does it well.
It'd be a good drinking game.
It would, yeah.
Not that we condone excessive shot taking and drinking, but...
I don't know if they approve of that at the Odeon, but...
Shots of squash, that's what we do. We do shots of squash.
Yeah.
With the Ribena one where it's extra syrupy.
Or shots of, what do hobbits drink? Like ale. Or honeyed mead.
Honey mead.
Drink mead.
I want to try honey mead. It would be a very exclusive...
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sweet beverage. Anyway, less about drinking.
Gone off topic,
Be responsible, people.
Drink responsibly. Yeah. That's our message for this week's podcast. But otherwise, I'm sure next time we'll be talking a bit more about our next gen goodness, but we'll get talking more about films again and TV.
Yeah,
as that's only fair. We don't want the games to have all the highlights.
Jolly good.
there's more to life.
Definitely. There is, children.
Yes.
Remember that.
Well, yes.
More to life
Anyway,
than
thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. They were good.
Yep, tweet at PopBucket UK, and that'd be fab. We'd like hearing from you guys. Anyway, that's it from me this week, and also from James and Michael.
Yes, see you guys.
Ta-ra.